So I definitely didn't leave my house like this, but this is how I left work. Look a mess. But I just want to recap. Okay, my skin is horrible right now for some reason. I'm doing all my masks. Yeah, just to recap. So I feel like since I've exposed this thing about myself, I can rewind for a second, just for a brief overview of things that, has taken place. Starting from, my relationship with my ex-husband. He was definitely like a serial cheater. And starting from like a few, I've dealt with men before him, of course. But like a few years after we got together, which had to been like 06. A few years into that, so like 09, we found out about the genital herpes. And that was more so from me having my very first breakout or whatever. But, apparently he had been cheating, so we definitely thought it was from him. He had cheated several times, really, since we've been together, starting with his ex, who was right before me, and, from then on, through marriage, everything, he was just this cheater. So after we found out or whatever, and it was very surprising that I had it and he didn't, because I just, I wasn't just never out there like that. So he definitely chose to stay with me. Like I mentioned before, there was really no change in our sex life. We still had a healthy sex life, but the thing is, this had to been something that lay dormant in my body for a long ass time, and I don't break out to this day. I'm gonna go again with my hair. So like I said, and with this, like, surprisingly, dude was still cheating a lot after that, which was kind of reckless, because he knew the risk he was taking staying with me, right. I look at such a mess. I just threw a wig on today. My hair ain't even all the way straight. I have to hurry up and get up out my door today. But fast forward to about 6-7 years ago, that's when I noticed all the gangstalking in the street theater. It was mostly starting with me being at church, New Way, under the leadership of Monica. She had, and my sister-in-law was going there, and she was living with me at the same time. Both would gaslight me. They didn't know each other prior to then, but they had, started getting closer or whatever, and I know why that is now, to the point where the pastor started to preach about me. You know what I'm saying? And my mama too, for real. But it was like she would look at me with these evil looks and shoot me evil looks and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? Dang, dwelling. What I do? I didn't know why anybody was acting no type of crazy. But I could tell you the moment where they probably exposed me to my mom, or exposed private conversations to my mom and them. Because anything, because that's when my mom, like, kind of went no contact, and I really didn't know why. And I wasn't in touch with any of my family. We all pretty much, most of us went to church together, so we was together every weekend. We'd have outings every weekend, dinner after church every weekend, because though I stayed, in St. Louis, You know, I went to church in Cahokia where my mother resided. So there was that, you know, and just thinking back, you know, that's probably something they were really trying to pin on me. But I like I said, there's no way to tell where something like that may have came from, especially if it was laying dormant in my body like that for so long. Hell, I could have had it in my body since I was a fucking child. You know, we had people in our family, or who was around our family and or married into our family, that was literal, you know, it was out there. Whether if it be sexually, whether if it be, you know, they're on drugs really bad, you know, yeah, like, I'm surprised I popped up with it, because really I was like, you could pretty much classify me as a good girl, you know. I may have messed with, you know, a certain caliber of men or whatever, you know, my late teens or whatever, before my ex-husband, but definitely was a good girl, the church girl. I got into a little something, but not, you know, not too crazy, just, you know, into partying and all that, which isn't uncommon for us kingdom kids after we get turned loose, child. Especially when, you know, you don't really have nobody to tell you, okay, pump your brakes, slow it down, bring it back in. You know, it just, I met my ex-husband at a time, I was like 19 years old, where I set me down. I didn't have nobody to tell me. I set me down. You know, I went back to college. I was still kind of hanging out. I remember I used to be over my cousin Pookie's house with my damn textbooks, still in the mix, but, you know, studying as well. You know what I'm saying? And he used to always tell me how proud of me that he was, that I was, you know, pursuing my education and stuff. Hi, Pookie, I love you. Yeah. So it was just like really surprising that somebody like me, you know, I took care of myself, you know. So, but we know it could take anything for that to happen, and apparently, you know, there's more to it than we thought. Because if, you know, people, friend of families and all them saying they caught it from being in our dwelling or my dwelling, then it's just that easy. Then how the fuck I get it? It could have not been sexually. You know what I'm saying? And so especially for like the men that I dealt with, you know, in the beginning, my first, like, it's people coming out the woodworks who was around when I wasn't even having sex. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's really going on? You know, it could have came from my brother, you know what I'm saying, who got out to, you know how little dudes is, teenage guys, or they trying to fuck any and everything. Could have kept from any of my boy cousins. I had several. I was around both sides of my family. You know, you can't do this to me. You can't. And yes, family is involved. Like, my brother hinted at, you know what I'm saying, basically pimping me the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? To men who I used to go with, or from like my old school, or, you know, the surrounding areas. You know how, I guess, everybody in the same area, it's a small world. Everybody you know, you end up dating each other, I guess. So, you know, it was just, and the statistics was crazy for STDs in general, but I don't think we ever really heard no herpes numbers back then. But shit, I'm just another victim in that, to be honest with you. You know, and that ugly cycle, it could have came from any of my friends back then, if it's really that easy, you know. And these are the people who've, you know, symbolized in some way, shape, or form that, you know, they have contracted this. Which, if that's the case, then of course I would be remorseful for sure. You know what I'm saying? But do I feel like I deserve this? Absolutely not. It's been like 6-7 years of this shit, man. 6-7 years. I mean, for my ex-husband to turn against me when you stayed, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, it's been hinted at his family, and just imagine his family, who I said, fuck these stars, because she's an escort, the Leslie Costello, who messed with the likes of Jaquan and Louis Funches. He married into the family. That's his Kane Coca. That's his people. You know, his uncle, who just got out of jail for fucking murder, Stephen Bull, who's now rubbing elbows with the elite of St. Louis, Missouri, and such as Orlando Watson, and you know, musical artists such as like Jeezy and all them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who all else this lady done screwed. You know what I'm saying? And so, and with that, like, she's messed with both of my little sister exes, which is, you know, one she went to school with, Lorenzo Johnson, which is said to be heavily involved with friends of his, such as Cortavius Jackson, of he got a little clothing line or whatnot. Child. Then, let's see. I got all the people he cheated on me with, my ex cheated on me with. They stalking me even. This girl named Valerie Lane and her cousins named Jasmine Dorough. Fucking Pamela Egerson, who I believe messed with somebody that I was talking to. So what you think their beef is? Right. But your beef not with me. Your beef should be with him. I wasn't fucking around. You know, I just always been like a loyal girlfriend, a loyal woman. You know. But, gosh, so fucking much. So I was, like I said, I was working at the Will and Co. The lady kind of hinted at it, and a doctor friend she had, and I really think this Dr. Charles Ampadu probably, you know, he had to have maybe contracted, I guess, from, you know, people who visited his office. I know my family was going there as well to his practice. Like, his name was exposed and shown. Like, they wanted me to see it at this nursing home where I was getting heavily, you know, fucked with. I'm ready to stop me. Get my dog off the store. Okay, y'all, I had to get me some braid in hair. Like, I'm like also a jack of all trades. I really should never be broke, but I stopped a lot of bags just because of all this. I had a cleaning business where just working, let's see, I worked 5 days a week, but those were like group line clients, so that didn't pay out very well. You just do that to get exposure, really, in hopes that people would continue using your service on an ongoing basis at the regular rate. I was always working, but like, I'd say like 7 days out of a month was my permanent ongoing clients. And that was just like $1,100 a month just with that. That's not even including my campaign, you know, lower end clients. So there was that, and I did hair. So, and I had a great clientele and regulars, you know, lots of one-timers even then, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm sure a lot of them are also a concern as well when it comes to all this. You know, and I hate it, but again, this man, I don't deserve this either. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, definitely stopping a lot of bags. I stopped my cleaning business, which was, you know, that's where I was at just from 7 days a month. just imagine where I could be now. I was steady growing, and I was great at marketing myself. But I think beforehand, so that was like the hair thing. It's like an extra $300 or $400 per weekend. You know what I'm saying? So definitely a hustler. So knowing the type of people I could attract, I definitely steered far the hell away from allowing people in my home and going to other people's homes. I said if I ever get into the business again, I'll send out teams and pay them hourly versus me servicing the clients, which I love doing the house cleaning. I had upscale, high-end clientele, and a pretty professional business. So that sucks for me pretty damn bad, because I'm left with just these minimum wage jobs, which they strategically make it so I'm not really making great money, and they stress that, so like I was mentioning before, this Dr. Charles Ampadu, who is my father's doctor, and lots of my family members. So I do believe he is, I know he is. I follow his daughter, who did everything all the other perpetrators did. She's also a doctor. Like I said, one thing we all have in common would be those damn medical records, the fucking sexual health screen. These people have hinted at injecting me. I've gotten these certain nursing homes, I don't fucking know why I would do these certain nursing homes where I was, experiencing, all this gangstalking shit, harassing shit. I've allowed them to inject me for a TB shot. I've allowed them to inject me for a Pfizer. I'm like, I just wish, and hope that is in fact what's in my body and nothing else dealing with these crazy people. You know what I'm saying? I did take a step today. I made a report to a government agency that deals with like sex trafficking, because I told you guys I believe they're being compensated for the guys in Florida, and I always deal with them gaslighting me, love bombing, breadcrumbing, and why I still deal with it, I don't know. I guess I be wanting to believe, someone would take me seriously. I was married. I was with my husband for 14 years. I love having a husband to take care of and a family to take care of, and having that family structure. I, want a great male role model in my home setting, because I am raising two boys that I'm trying to raise the right way. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to fall subject to having the wrong influence, or, me lacking the know-how, being a woman and all. And I know there are some women who've, raised great men, but, they're always missing, those attributes from not having a dad in the house. Some really good person, you know what I'm saying? And they tend to be, on the softer side, especially when they come to women. But at the same time, like, you could tell because how they deal with things, that they didn't have a consistent male figure is just important, and they're used to having a father figure in house, and it messes them up, especially my youngest, that their dad isn't, you know, in the household anymore, and we've been apart for almost 2 years now. But, you know, they also know that's not something I'm willing to do. These people have lots of people with clout and of status. Aside from the celebrities I may have named previously, we're talking like the lady artist Martin. She said she had, and you should have seen, she had these sheriffs come in and, you know, throwing their little weight around. They like, oh, why you scared? Why you getting nervous? I'm like, who? What did I do? You talking about because you're trying to frame me and set me up because y'all already have this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do me. You're not intimidating me. You're not fucking pressing me. I think you're scum right now, actually. You know, and one of them, like, they always send these lookalikes. One of them was a lookalike for the guy James Bell I mentioned. I really wish somebody get his ass because he's one of my main problems. Is somebody I, you know, fool with, and sexually, intimately. He's another one that, you know, mentioned he didn't care of my status. And lots of people don't, because it's a nuisance, but they're fucking pimples, man. It ain't that fucking crazy. It's very common, even. So it's just crazy to even be doing all that for real. Some people are highly uninformed about it at the same time. So, yeah, man. So yeah, this artist Martin person is Dorian Douglas. His family, Shanky or Shank somebody. Rachel Sumrall. They have licensed therapists and psychologists whom were my peers I went to school with. I know one girl for sure, Rachel Witcher Logan. You probably find her on YouTube somewhere. Look up on Facebook. She is a freaking therapist, and she's gangstalked me. And I'm like, this must be, you know, someone who's advising them on what to do. Like, you're being taught how to, you know, heal people's minds, and people who, you know, don't have like situational circumstances. They're just, you know, they may really be mentally ill. You're a fixer, and you're using that knowledge. And then I know that has to go against all kind of codes because you're licensed by the state to practice. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when these people get caught up, they're going to be in a fucking world of trouble. So it's really, really bold. But that's why I'm doing this. Because before they could set me up, it's like, no, doc, judge, attorney, whoever. They trying to set me up. Why? Fucking have them pull their medical records. Their fucking prescription records. You know what I'm saying? And the girl Chandel Rucker, you know she's a therapist. Her brother Scott Minion, he used to be a little troublemaker, used to mess with my sister or whatever. Lots of their exes are doing it too. I mentioned their, you know, the gangs, you know, Mac 13 and you know, all them. I guess they the same people or different. I don't fucking know. But I know they're heavily involved. Like, they push weight out here. So, you know, their money pretty long. They street rich. They're street rich out here. So, but they're not the only investors, for sure. It's a lot of those celebrities, like I mentioned, Nicholas Cannon, yes, of Wild and Out. And he mentioned that shit twice. He's talking about me. When you put my name in the same sentence, it happens on 2 different episodes. Don't remember. I think it was the same season. Like, come on, man. I don't know where he fit anything unless somebody, of course, messed with Leslie. But like I said, Leslie, for her to be messing with rappers and shit like that, she was fucking with, guys who really ain't have much. And 2 of them was my sister's exes. So that shit crazy. Yeah, I had moved from South County where this girl named Aisha Rowland. This was after I had messed with somebody or whatever. And I don't know if they went together. He used to act like they weren't fucking around, just living together. But he still, you know how that go. Because I was in the same situation. You don't want to disrespect, because most times when you in a long-term relationship and you call yourself being broken up or whatever, and y'all living together, you still messing around for real, or you gonna be right back together. You gonna throw the title back in there. You know how that shit go. But the girl had started speaking, her name Aisha Rowland, and she has these sisters named Yana and Nyambi. I think Nyambi Ferguson or Flowers. Yana Flowers. Something like that, but I know her name Aisha Rowland. She started describing her situation with her baby daddy, but she was verbatim talking about, sounded like she probably was speaking from the mouth of that guy I was fooling with girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And her name is Alexis Parham. And her and all her family have been harassing me. I mean, once they're on my street, come outside when I come outside, hitting that certain shit. I remember I was outside talking to this guy, Kevin Anderson, who I told y'all stalked me a lot. He has showed up where I was at, and if you look up the term gangstalking by definition, you will see that that's one of the attributes of a gangstalking, or having a stalker in general. Kevin Anderson. He owns a gym in St. Louis, Illinois. So, when we're outside talking, it was probably the first time we linked up. I didn't invite him in my house because he was new to me. And we stood wait for my building even shit by this tree or whatever. And all of a sudden, this lady named Lavonda, who was my mom's old parent, pulled up. Oh my God, I want some fish. And yeah, I'm like, okay, they must know each other. Something ain't right with this shit. And this how bold they are. They move me where they are. My ex-stepbrother, Ricky Lovin, right across the street. This guy was a house down from my mother, which is where I'm at right now. And his name Voneric, and his girlfriend or wife is Michaela. No, I guess wife, because her name on Facebook as Michaela Dodd. I thought he was married to somebody else, because I've been around her via my best friend, a couple occasions. But he's definitely probably a big deal in this situation. I think he was friends with an old church girl of mine, Cairo, which I've dealt with, stalking from their family, because I know their cousin or somebody, Taurus Moore, he's gang stalking me several times, but he used to play the drums for my church. Or play the piano or some shit. He was a musician. Shit. I remember when I started back living over here, his cousins or sisters, whoever, Carmesia Dyson and Carrie Dyson, they popped up and they was doing me all like this. I'm like, what the fuck is all this? Where you been? Because, I ain't seen these old classmates. I ain't seen these motherfuckers in 20 years. Almost. So, we done. Where you been? Where you been hiding? Doing all this extra shit. And I'm like, she doing this as if I was trying to get by her, dodge her. And I'm like, what the fuck is you even doing all that for? And I know it had everything to do with this whole little stupid ass operation. And I'm like, in nowhere. I lived in St. Louis for years. That's where my husband was from. Like this shit fucking extra as fuck. And since we weren't close, we spoke in passing at school. High school. We're near 40. Fuck. The fuck. But I guess she has herpes. Sure issue. Say it. And that's why it'll be mighty hard to get me on anything, because that's gonna come out. You have that thing working against you. You shouldn't have let me fucking figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's fucked up for my ex-husband to be a op because of that. Because you knew. You know, you're gonna crucify me for a decision you made. Excuse that, y'all. I can't get that shit clean for nothing. I'm trying to get rid of this motherfucking car with that. I wish I would have never bought. I really wish I would have. I didn't even see all of that shit up there until I had this motherfucker like a week. Child, listen. Anyway. So when we moved from there with Aisha, and it was a stripper girl named Victoria Boudoir who stayed right underneath us. We used to get into it all the time. And then, like, I drew away from Aisha because she started doing all this subliminal shit, mentioning shit she shouldn't know about my life. They always make it seem like they're talking about somebody else. And they'll be going in, joning them bad. Like, I'm a tall woman. You know, like this tall, big face chick with long nails, long purple nails, but you ain't talking about me though. I mean shit like that, y'all. Undeniable shit. It's crazy. But that's like, so, you know, my husband used to hang around her too or whatever. And her, because she had a little dude or whatever. I told you they were swipers. Perry Wilson. He used to travel for his fucking crimes. Him and his little gang. But, child, look. So I told my ex-husband, like, stop hanging around them. I told him what they was doing. He like, oh, you know, he be thirsty to be around motherfucker anyway, especially for weed purposes. Because if he ain't got no smokes or money to smoke, they gonna take his ass where the smoke's at. That's just the type of person he was. But he stayed, you know, hanging around them and kicking it with them, and I withdrew, you know. Because I wanted to be her friend and everything, but she started doing that shit. So I got the fuck out of there. That shit was strange as fuck to me. Let's see. After that, okay, I stopped going from that church, and literally during this time, it was really kind of driving me crazy at that time.